This is an introduction. To jump right to the meditation itself, you can find the timestamp in the description below. This meditation is meant as a practical contemplation to prepare yourself for your death. Of course, there is no way we can truly prepare for it, but it might help you to become more comfortable with the idea that we will die. Instead of perhaps dying scared, upset, or confused, maybe it can help as a preparation to die with a wholesome, accepting mind. You can use this meditation as a way of becoming more aware of the fragility of life. While we celebrate birth and life, death is a taboo in most societies. But it should not be, because this hiding away probably makes us either more scared and afraid, or we simply refuse to consider that this will happen to us all. Or we believe that death will be like we see in movies, where they often portray it as something peaceful and even elegant. This is by no means meant as a replacement for the regular TWIM meditation. See it more as an addition where we can practice having a peaceful, content mind even in the most difficult circumstances. And to understand the three characteristics of existence, namely impermanence, suffering, and the impersonal nature of absolutely everything better in some way. For this meditation, you can choose to sit up straight and alert, but comfortably enough to sit through the entire meditation. Or you can try this lying down, since this is the posture most of us will probably die in. Lie down on your back. If you are prone to sleepiness, lift one of your underarms straight up, while the upper arm rests on the bed. When you become sleepy, the underarm will drop and alert you that you became sleepy. Whatever posture you choose, try not to move. At the start, bring up a little smile, your lips, but also your eyes, your heart and mind. And whenever during this meditation you forget that you are meditating, so you are completely distracted for a moment or a minute, let go of that distraction like this. You recognize the distraction. You release it by not giving it any attention. Gently, without annoyance, turn your attention away from it towards relaxing the mind and body. Make the muscles in your face or your shoulders soft again, and relax the tension that came up in the mind. If your smile has disappeared, re-smile and return to your object, which is the contemplation on the dying process. Repeat this whenever a distraction comes up. So let's begin with this meditation. Here you are, the final confrontation with the impermanence of the body and the mind. Your time is almost up. You had quite a life, filled with countless experiences, both pleasurable and unpleasant ones, because that is what it means to live a human life. You said your goodbyes to family and friends. It was hard, and perhaps even more so for the loved ones that you leave behind. But you are coming to terms with it. After all, you have no choice. No one lives forever. You are dying, and all people you have ever known in your life are already dead or will die too. And those that live now will remember you until their time has come. The body feels painful and uncomfortable now, and it is very, very weak. Even turning to the other side is something you can no longer manage without assistance. Your breathing is labored, but you are too tired to care. But still you think, while the body is struggling and some parts of the body are already starting to give up, the mind is still somewhat clear, even though it can be foggy or even delusional at times because of the medications that you have been given. This is the circle of life and death. You heard this expression so often, but it never seemed more real than it does now. You tried to keep the precepts. You practiced purifying your mind. Yes, it was not always above reproach. You broke precepts more than once and felt remorse whenever you did. But you decided to do better, and over time it became easier for you. You meditated, but not as often as you should have. But you can still meditate now. You can die meditating, and you should. It is the best thing that is left to do. You do not need to be afraid. You have no control over the body, no control over the mind, no control over the next rebirth. You never had any control over anything, but you can intend to die with a wholesome mind, not with fear, hate, or regrets, or with greed for your possessions that you worked so hard for to acquire. And you are tired of still getting caught by a past that has long since gone. You can die with a peaceful mind, and you can still recite the precepts with the intention of keeping them. I undertake to keep the precept to abstain from killing or harming living beings on purpose. Never has there been a moment in your life where it was more clear to you how precious it is for all beings to live. It is an opportunity for them to create good karma, and you should never deprive them of that possibility. Let them be a little bit safer through your sincere intention not to harm them. I undertake to keep the precept to abstain from taking what has not been given. You are dying, and now is the final opportunity to be generous. You cannot take anything with you. What better time to wholeheartedly give all those belongings away and make other people happy? They will have something to remember you by, or your gift will make their lives a little bit easier in some way. I undertake to keep the precept to abstain from sexual and sensual misconduct. Though the dying body is not interested in these things anymore, the mind might still be. Let it go. Let it all go. In the end, what did these sensual desires ever do for you? What have they given you that is lasting? I undertake to keep the precept to abstain from telling lies, using malicious, divisive, or harsh speech or idle chatter. It is not too late. You can still decide to speak up, to be honest about things that you kept to yourself, to speak kind words that people will remember after you are gone, to forgive people that you were not able to forgive before. They acted out of their own painful experiences and tendencies, and they created dark karma because of that. Forgive them, whether they are sorry for what they did or whether they do not even remember. Do not use your final words to sow discontent and fuel arguments, but instead give people some peace of mind. I undertake to keep the precept to abstain from taking drugs and alcohol. Yes, doctors might have given you medications to ease pain and discomfort, but that is okay, because now, instead of being drawn towards that painful body, the drugs make it easier for the mind to remember what is profoundly important, namely to be at peace and to leave all unhealthy and tainted mind states behind. As you reflect on your impending death, you start to understand what the Buddha said. These 8 worldly conditions revolve around the world, and the world revolves around these 8 worldly conditions. What 8? Gain and loss, disrepute and fame, blame and praise, pleasure and pain. What do these 8 things matter when you are leaving this life and everything that belonged to you behind? These too turn out to be impermanent. You can now clearly feel how this body is nearing its end. It is impermanent, and it has never been more obvious. You know now that there is nothing beautiful about it. It is just an assembly of the four great elements. The earth element, most noticeable in the teeth and your aching bones. The water element, diminishing now as you are unable to drink your fill and the bladder is losing control. The air element, as each breath is now a struggle. And the fire element that took care of digestion, maintaining homeostasis of the body temperature, when now the body is either burning up with fever or getting cold and no blanket can keep it warm enough. The mind too is impermanent. There is no mind. There are just mental actions, ever arising and passing away. They are like waves in the ocean, constantly rising and falling, completely impersonal, ever in flux. No one is creating the waves, and no one is creating these mental phenomena. There is no observer, there are just observation processes. There is no meditator, and there is no permanent self, and it is all right. You are tired, and little by little you are letting go of many things. You start to understand that there is no need for a self. There never was. These states of mind happen by themselves, fueled by laws of nature, by previous causes and conditions that are already gone forever. What is now left for you to do is to let go of this life and leave with a heart filled with loving kindness towards all beings, and that includes yourself. You have had your share of suffering, as all beings have. You had this idea, against all proof to the contrary, that you would live forever, just like other beings have that distorted perception. But now you are facing death, as all beings have faced it, are facing it right now, and will face it in the future. We are all caught in this wheel of samsara, which never brought us anything good or everlasting. These countless rebirths never gave us even a glimmer of everlasting wisdom or joy, and so far it was impossible to escape it. But now you can, because the Buddha, ever compassionate for our welfare, taught us how, by letting go of all unwholesome formations and by filling the heart with wholesome, selfless states of mind. Let your heart be filled with loving kindness for all beings, no exceptions, because there is not one being who is not suffering, who is not deserving of loving kindness and compassion. Even a second of sincere loving kindness is an immeasurable treasure. It outshines the questionable things that you may have done when you did not yet know any better. Even in your final moments, you can attain Nibbana by letting go. It does not even matter in which jhana you die. They are all pure mental states. Let go of this life. Let go even of the Dhamma that you discovered and that started to guide you through this life. It has fulfilled its purpose, and you now know what to do. To truly let go, you recognize when a distraction arises. You release it by gently turning your attention away from the hindrance towards relaxing the mind and body, making them soft again. If your smile has disappeared, re-smile. Even when the body cannot smile anymore, the mind still can. And return to your object, your final task, which is keeping the mind at ease, accepting, comfortable, gentle, tender, and even happy and content. Because while the body is suffering, you can still die with grace and with boundless loving kindness for all beings. Repeat when a distraction comes up, or a thought of regret, of sorrow, of anger, a memory. Why would you want to hold on to those? Discard them, just like you have to discard the burden that you call your body. You can leave this life behind with a smile. What alternative is there? Who would want to die with a suffering mind? Leave all tainted states of mind behind. You choose to die happy or equanimous and unafraid, a mind filled with comfort and joy, even while the body is dying. And when the body takes its final breath and the mind disintegrates and your name is no longer useful, know that the bright Karma that was created will carry on towards a beautiful rebirth, which might just be the final one.